Hi, today is February 16th. It's a Tuesday. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Hopefully the long break didn't, affect you too much. And if it did, spring break is just a month away. For today, we're going to start off with a trimester review. So this is something we've done the very beginning of the trimester. So we're looking to see what people remember about it and to kind of refresh the memories. So we're going to use the equation, this one right here. We're going to use that to fill out the table on the graph. So when I plug in 0 for x, we do 2 times 0, which is 0, plus 1, which is 1. We do 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 1 is 3. We do 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1 is 5. We do 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 1, which is 7. And 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9. So when we go about graphing it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just going to go to 9 because that's all 3, 4. That's all that's over here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so we plot our first point. So we go over 0 and up 1. Over 0 and up 1. So first point is right there. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up to 3. Over 2, up to 5. Over 3, up 7. And over 4, up 9. So there's my graph. If I can draw it straight. There we go. So is it proportional? The answer is no, because in order to be proportional, it must go through 0, 0. But if I look at the table or the graph, it actually goes through 0, 1. Right there, right there. So is it proportional? The answer is no. Okay, there are 570 students and 30 teachers in the school. Find the COP of students per teacher. So COP is constant of proportionality. That's just like a unit rate. So to do that, we have to do students per teacher. Students comes first. We're going to divide that, per means divide, by the number of teachers, which is 30. So when I type that into my calculator, let me just pull it up. There we go. I do 570 divided by 30. I get an answer of 19. So there are 19 students per one teacher. There's your Chuck Norris fact for the day. As far as information goes, you're down to 3 days now to turn in late work. So don't wait any longer. We're going to be calling students in during lunchtime this week to help people get caught up with it. And even though the late work deadline ends this week, you can still make any corrections to feedbacks up until the last day of the trimester, which is March 5th. For today, students are going to do the self-start. They're going to check their grades. And then we're going to be starting a new topic, which deals with inequalities. So the first thing students need to be aware of is what's the difference between x equals 7 and x, and then this symbol right here, which is less than 7. So the difference is, well, x equals 7, so just 7. So 7 is the only number that it would equal. Whereas this one, we're looking for any numbers less than 7. So 6 or 5 or negative 10 or negative 2 billion or whatever. So any number less than 7 would work. And that's what an inequality does. So if I'm given this right here, 5 and a 10, and I need to put the correct symbol in it, well, you were probably taught that the alligator eats the bigger number. So in this case, it would look like this because 10 is the bigger number and the alligator eats it. So I'm going to... But we're going to start changing that mindset. We're no longer going to say the alligator eats the bigger number. We're going to have you guys identify what each symbol means. So the way I look at it is this. This symbol right here, this is a less than. And you can show this or practice this by making an L with your left hand and then squishing it down. So when I look at it, that symbol matches exactly what I just did on my finger. Make an L, squish it down. So this one is a greater than. So to do that, you make a J, which is kind of what a G is, and then squish it down, and then there you go. This would be a less than. That line underneath it means it's also equal to. This would be a greater than. Or equal to, because it has a line underneath. So those are some things we need to start practicing. So instead of saying the alligator eats the bigger number, start practicing it on your finger. Make an L for less than, squish it down, and there's your less than symbol. So some notes that you'll need to know is what less than means. Less than are numbers smaller than it, but does not include it. So keywords to watch out for are things like smaller, fewer, below. Those would be some keywords to help identify what a less than symbol is. And I'm going to draw it just so you can see it. A greater than symbol is our numbers larger than that, but does not include it. So keywords would be more than, bigger, above, and it would look like this. Less than or equal to are numbers, that number and one smaller than it. No more than, budget at most, those kind of things. So it would be a line underneath the less than symbol. And a greater than symbol would look like this, and it's that number and numbers larger than it. So at least, no less than, minimum, those kind of things would indicate those symbols. So for this, if I'm not sure if it's a less than or a greater than, make an L with your left hand, squish it down. L is less, L and L, so that would be a less than symbol. This one right here, well, if I squish it down, a less than, an L squish, that doesn't match, so this is going to be a greater than. Make a J, squish it down. How about greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to? Well, squish it down, make an L, squish it. That matches, so now we know it's a less than, and that line underneath means equal to. So it's less than or equal to. So is this one a greater or less than or equal to, greater than, less than, or less than or equal to? This one's going to throw you off just to make sure you're paying attention. This actually is a greater than symbol, or equal to because of the line, but that's not one of the options, so it's just kind of a joke. The next thing you need to be aware of is when to use a closed circle or an open circle when you're graphing it. So when you're doing a number line, something else, let me kind of just draw one. So if you're going to use a closed circle, that means it is equal to. So it includes that number. So if you see a less than or a greater than symbol, then that's when you use a closed circle. So if, in this case, I would use a closed circle, even though it's not really a circle. Something looks like that. An open circle means that it does not include it, so it's a less than or a greater than symbol. So it's just an open circle, and it looks like that. So you'll need to know when to use a closed circle and when to use an open circle for this unit. So graphing it, this is a greater than, so we're looking for numbers greater than or equal to 4. Now that equal to means it's a closed circle, so I'm going to do a closed circle right here on 4, and I'm looking for numbers that are greater than that. This is x is less than 12, so here's my 12. It is not equal to, so it's an open circle, and it goes in this direction. So here's a hint that a lot of people will say. When you get an answer that looks like this, look at which way the arrow is pointing. So if the arrow is pointing this way, then my graph will go this way. If my arrow is pointing this way, then my graph will go that way too. Be careful with that. You'll learn later in the unit that's not always true, but for right now, that's probably a good indicator. X is less than or equal to 21. Well, it's equal to, so I'm going to use a closed circle, 21, and I'm going to go in this direction. And the last one, X is greater than 4. That's going to be an open circle, and it's going to go in this direction. So what if you're given a graph and had to write an inequality from it? So basically you're going from this to this instead of this to this. So you're kind of going backwards with it. So when I look at this, I see it's a closed circle. So I know it's going to be greater than because it's going to this direction. And I'm going to put my equal sign because of the closed circle and put my variable on this side and wherever the dot is on this side, so negative 20. So this says X is greater than or equal to negative 20. So numbers greater than negative 20. In this case, we're going to have an open circle. So it's going to be a less than because it goes that direction. And on my graph, a number that falls between 0 and 18 would be a 9. So just right in the middle. So my answer would be X is less than 9. If you have any questions, get a hold of your teacher, Canvas, email, however you need to, and we'll see you back soon enough. See you later.